Long ago, when the world was bright and full of stories, an evil wizard gained the power to touch the face of God. Narrativa, goddess of stories and weaver of our world, banished him to the void, but not before he stole a piece of her divine essence. With this newfound power, the wizard lay a dread curse upon all the world, the Glyph Purge, which struck from the minds of all mortals the knowledge of how to read and write. Now, all that stand between the Isle of Meotia and an age of endless ignorance are the bards, who tell stories of distant lands, exotic creatures, and brave heroes. This is one such tale. Hello and welcome to Challenge Rating Zero, the latest and greatest Dungeons & Dragons podcast to hit the internet airwaves. I am Sam, your Dungeon Master, and I am joined, as always, by my longtime friends and adventuring companions.
Hi, I'm Brian, and I play Hector the Gatekeeper.
Hello, I'm Beth, and I play Rilla Longshadow.
Hey, this is Alex, and I play Ruger Firehide.
And last but not least, we have the man who calls himself Michael, but who we call Parker. Michael Parker playing the druid Zurabak. Say hi, Parker.
Hi, Parker.
Fantastic. We are joined once again for a tale of epic fantasy. We left on a bit of a cliffhanger last time, when last we left our heroes. Rilla, Zurabak, Ruger, and Hector were traveling through the horrid Badlands, a twisted landscape of blasted earth, dark crystalline spires, and an ominous howling that surrounded them as they made their way north from the town of Pickers Run to their ultimate destination of Ever Spring. While traveling through the Badlands, our heroes were haunted by the terrible howling that had pursued them since their entrance into the Badlands. They had discovered many terrible things along the way. The Badlands themselves had expanded, their horrid boundaries reaching across the Great Northern Road into the Springvale Forest, blasting the trees there into withered husks and warping the magics therein. And as the howling continued, their companions, the trader family known as the Hilltopples, had found themselves succumbing to a strange lethargy. One after another, they lost consciousness as their heads rang with this terrible howling, and their mounts quickly followed suit. Upon seeing this, Hector commanded them to circle the wagons, and just as the last remaining Hilltopples lost consciousness, they were barely able to form a protective ring around Sebastian's wagon of wonders. Sebastian himself was the first to fall to this strange illness and is at this very moment unconscious in the back of his wagon, gray-skinned and murmuring incoherently. It was just as the wagons were circled that a new and exotic threat revealed itself. A man naming himself as Varyx, the Hand of the Void, appeared as if from nowhere before our heroes with a pack of strange beasts known as howlers. These creatures had been generating the horrid sound that had bedeviled the minds of the Hilltopples and of Sebastian, and were responsible for all of them falling into this mysterious slumber. Varyx had stated his business. He was looking for the bard and the book, sent here by the Lord Deceiver to recover these things, and demanded that the heroes provide them, offering to spare them if they cooperated. Our heroes, of course, denied this offer, and a battle ensued. While Zurabak surprisingly tended to the unconscious Sebastian and fortified the Wagon of Wonders with a protective spell, Hector and Ruger held the line, fighting off these horrid beasts known as howlers, while Rilla offered cover from the top of Sebastian's wagon, raining down arrows. The beasts were slain, but not before Varyx, Hand of the Void, was able to reach the door to Sebastian's Wagon of Wonders. He opened the door to find Zurabak's trap, a fire trap that exploded in his face. It burned off the black mask covering his mouth to reveal that his mouth was sewn shut with thick black cord. He had been communicating with our heroes telepathically. And so we join our heroes now in the midst of combat. Varyx, Hand of the Void, stands at the door to Sebastian's Wagon of Wonders, the only thing between him and the ill bard being Zurabak. Ruger and Hector are not far behind Varyx, and Rilla still stands on the roof of the Wagon of Wonders. So, following the initiative that we had last session, it would turn out that in this highly climactic sequel episode, we start, as always, with the real hero of this tale, Snake, Zurabak's animal companion. So, Zurabak, what does Snake do?
Snake was outside by the Quilly Dillies.
Yeah, Snake was outside by the quill-covered Howlers, doing combat with them.
And that one's dead now, correct?
All of the Howlers have been dispatched by your hand.
Yeah, then
party's
he's going
hands.
to slowly slither back towards me.
Fantastic. It's my understanding that Snake doesn't have a very high movement speed, so he will be spending his turn a-slithering through the line of wagons underneath one of the hill topples, armored and covered wagons, back towards the fracas proper. So that is Snake's turn. Hector, we come back to your turn. You are standing inside the ring of wagons. You're about 20 feet from Varyx as he stands at the door to the Wagon of Wonders. What do you do?
Well, Hector is covered in blood, much of it his own. But, the enemy is breaching the carriage, so Hector's gonna close that gap. And he's gonna swing for the fences. We're gonna do... Is he inside the carriage, or is he just at the entrance?
He is just at the entrance, just outside the door. His foot is on the step leading up into the carriage.
Nah, Bull Rush would be stupid right now. Yeah, it would be stupid. Just gonna swing. I'm gonna do a power attack. -2.
Alright, Hector rushes forward, wielding his great maul and swings with his powerful barbarian muscles.
Does a 22 hit?
A 22 does hit.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. That's gonna be 17 points of damage.
Fantastic. You rush forward and swing your powerful maul in two hands, and you smash into the lithe form of this black-clad assassin. The head of your maul crunches into his rib cage, and he bends to the side. You can tell that the force of your blow, though great, doesn't hurt him as much as it should. He seems to lithely bend around the head of your maul and absorb some of the impact with some strange footwork. But yeah, you definitely crunch into his ribs. His eyes snap from Sebastian on his bed to you, and his wide, dark eyes seem to pierce right through you. He cocks his head to the side, as he had earlier when he was observing your movements, and he nods slightly. First blood is yours. We will see if you can follow through. That makes it Zurabak's turn. Zurabak, you are inside Sebastian's Wagon of Wonders. If I remember correctly, you had just brewed some tea.
Yep.
Varyx, Hand of the Void, seems to be momentarily distracted by Hector's big-ass hammer, and he is not looking in your direction, but he is just outside the door of the wagon. Sebastian is behind you, fitfully murmuring, unconscious on his bed. What do you do?
I put down the tea kettle, because clearly it's not ready yet.
No, not yet.
I shrug and move up to stabify this man thing.
Fantastic. You move up with your spear and attempt to stab this assassin. Roll an attack roll.
Can he be crit?
Yes. Did you roll a critical?
Yes, I'm rolling to confirm now. 20.
Yep, that will do it. That will confirm the critical. Nicely done. You have scored a critical hit against this assassin.
Kill him.
28.
So, Zurabak, flexing his mighty half-orc muscles, ambles forward with his spear in hand and thrusts at Varyx. Your spear catches him completely by surprise. His focus seems to be purely on Hector at the moment, and you pierce his shoulder. You pierce all the way through him. The tip of your spear comes bursting out of his chest. Blood pours from the wound, and he looks genuinely surprised by that. His eyes dart to you as you rip your spear free of the dreadful wound you have just dealt this man, and you see a small trickle of blood ooze out from between his stitched together lips. That makes it Rilla's turn. Rilla, you were on the roof of the Wagon of Wonders. The way everything is staged at the moment, you do have a shot on Varyx if you run to the end and shoot straight down.
Is Hector within 30 feet of me?
He absolutely is.
Here's what I want to do. Let me know if I can do this. I want to cast Mage Armor, but I want to give it to Rutherford and have Rutherford deliver it because it's a touch spell, right? And Rutherford can carry a touch spell. So that's what I want to do, because I can't heal Hector, but I can give him better AC.
So, just to understand, you have your cat rub up against me and it makes me more defensive? Thank you.
Yes. So yeah, I take Rutherford off my shoulders, put him down, put Mage Armor on him, and tell him to go get Hector.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
So you have a +4 to your AC for the next 4 hours.
Beautiful.
You pet Rutherford, channeling arcane energy into your familiar, who dutifully and gracefully jumps off the roof of the Wagon of Wonders and purrs deeply as its massive Maine Coon cat form rubs up against Hector's leg, and Hector, a golden sheen surrounds you with the translucent outline of a suit of plate armor before it shimmers out, and yeah, you now have +4 to your armor class.
Thanks, Rilla.
That was fucking cool.
That's the first time he's delivered a spell so far, so that's fun.
Fantastic. Ruger Firehide. It is your turn, good sir. There is quite a fracas going on at the back of Sebastian's wagon. What would you like to do?
Without hesitation, Ruger rushes forward, his duster coat snapping in the wind behind him, and lunges at Varyx, slashing at him with his battle axe.
Fantastic. Ruger joins the fray, finding an opening, and slashes with his battle axe at Varyx.
Does a 16 hit?
Unfortunately, a 16 is not quite enough. As you close the gap, you swing with expert precision your trusty battle axe, but Varyx at the last minute snaps his head in your direction, does that weird head tilt, and almost as if he can read your movements, he bends around your swing, perfectly evading it, and your axe meets only open air. That makes it Varyx's turn. He wipes the corner of his mouth where the blood trickles out of it, looks at it for a moment, almost confused, and then he makes several strange motions with his hand and lashes out in what you might call a flurry of blows, trying to strike all of the foes around him at the same time. Zurabak, does a 20 hit your armor class?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. By a lot. Zerabak, you take 10 points of damage.
All right.
Let's see. Ruger does an 11 hit your armor class.
No, sir.
Fantastic. And then he lashes out at Hector. Hector does a 21 hit your armor class.
Yeah.
All right. So he lands a blow on Hector as well. Hector, you're going to take 7 points of damage. He is also going to leap backwards gracefully outside of your reach. Yep. So he lashes out with speed and fury, with his hands, feet, elbows spinning as he lashes out in all directions, seemingly at once. And then he leaps up into the air and does a perfect backflip and lands on the ground some 15 feet away from you, his back to one of the Hilltopple's wagons. He crouches down in a low stance and holds his hands up like blades in front of him and says, "This could have been so simple." And that is his turn. It is now Snake's turn.
Is he within 20 feet?
It'll take him another turn to get to him. Varyx is basically flipped to the other end of the circle of wagons. So it'll take another turn for Snake to get there.
Poor Snake.
Poor Snake. Alright, so Snake's still slithering. A cruise missile on its way to impact. That's going to bring us back to Hector. Hector, it is your turn. So Varyx has slipped out from your grasp. He's 15 feet away from you. His back is to one of the Hilltopple's wagons. It is your turn. What would you like to do?
Hector sighs, stomps frustratedly over to where Varyx has moved. As he does so, he says, "Second blood you!" as he gears up a swing. Power attack -2. Yeah, that's probably pretty good. That's a 23.
23 is going to hit.
19 points of damage.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage.
The power attacks are really disgusting.
Yeah, you surge forward and swing your great maul. The rugged stone that makes up the head of your impressive weapon slams into the side of Varyx's knee. You do hear a very satisfying crunch. He's able to bend his leg, strangely, at the very last moment to kind of shrug off some of that damage. But you do hear a very satisfying crunch. And again, he looks surprised that you've landed so deadly a blow against him. He wavers on this particular leg as you surge forward and bash him. Zerabak, it is your turn.
I guess I leave the wagon, close the door behind me, and move forward to stabify him once more.
Did you
Fantastic.
leave the teapot on the stove? Is that canon?
Yes.
The teapot is on the stove.
Oh yeah, no, I wrote down teapot. Don't you worry. The teapot has initiative. I'm tracking it. Don't you worry.
Fantastic.
Math. 18 does not hit.
18, unfortunately, is not a hit. You rush forward. Well, you walk forward. You're Zerabak. You walk forward, sighing deeply as you slam the door to the Wagon of Wonders closed behind you. You thrust your spear, and at the last moment, Varyx's eyes flash towards you, and he bends strangely to avoid your blow. You stab deeply into the wood of the wagon behind him, but are unable to make purchase. That's going to bring us to Rilla. Rilla, you are still on top of the Wagon of Wonders. Your familiar has just delivered this lovely spell to your companion, Hector. What would you like to do?
I just toss some magic missiles, I think. Because sorcerer.
Fantastic.
So I get 2 of them. So I shoot 2 little arrow-looking magic missiles. They
You
do.
summon your sorceress powers and let fly with 2 arcane bolts that fly through the air, unerringly striking their target.
4 points on the first and 3 points on the second. So 7
Excellent.
points of damage.
You summon 2 magical missiles shaped like high-quality elven arrows. They dart from your outstretched hand and zip through the air, striking Varyx.
I think you actually said that I mime pulling an actual, like, using my bow and then they shoot out or something.
For
like
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool as fuck. Yeah,
Yeah.
you do that. Yeah, you draw your bow back and 2 magic missiles fire out of it. And yeah, they strike Varyx solidly in the chest. 1 on each pectoral muscle. They throw him backwards violently against the wagon that he's currently staged against. And he sags, like, visibly from this onslaught. He is starting to sweat. Some sweat starting to run down the side of his face, and his eyes are now flashing wildly from person to person, he's trying to absorb all of you in his gaze at once. And
I call Rutherford back to me so that he gets out of the fray.
Yeah, Rutherford climbs back up to
Cool.
the roof of the wagon. Ruger Firehide, it is now your turn. Your enemy has their back to the wall. What would you like to do?
I would like to take a 5-foot step forward, and then I would like to throw my 1 remaining throwing axe right at him.
Cool. You step forward and pull your throwing axe from its belt loop. You hurl it. And what'd you get on your attack roll?
18.
Unfortunately, that is not quite enough. You hurl your throwing axe. It tumbles end over end. And you see Varyx actually reach out and snatch it from the air as it comes close to him. It looks like it was right about to hit his face, but he grabs the haft expertly as it's tumbling towards him. He takes a moment and looks around at all of you and seems to be weighing his options. He says telepathically in all of your heads, "It seems you are more skilled than the old elf let on. The board and the book belong to the Lord Deceiver. They will be ours, and you will bring them to us. If not now, then later." And then he disappears from your sight, where Varyx was once standing is now just open air. You all can roll listen checks to see if you can figure out where exactly he's gone.
16.
18.
12.
Hector, you're just barely able to hear as the adrenaline is pumping through your veins from your barbarian rage, and you're gazing around, trying to take in everything. You hear some creaking on the roof of the wagon that you're looking at, that Varyx was just leaning up against. It seems like he's on the roof of the wagon, and then you hear a couple more creaks from the next wagon over and the next wagon over, like he's tracing a route along the wagon train, and the creaking stops when he gets to the lead wagon, Inga's wagon, and you hear a rustling in that wagon. And that is the bad guy's turn. It is Snake's turn.
Oh, sorry, I got a 22 on the listen, and Snake got a whatever 18 plus 7 is.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Snakes don't even have ears.
Snake, flicking its tongue in the air, is able to pinpoint exactly where this bad guy is, and it seems that Varyx is, on Inga's wagon in the driver's seat. Well, you can't see through Snake's eyes, but yeah, Snake motions to exactly that spot. Snake, stands up and makes himself into a nice arrow shape and points to Inga's wagon in the driver's seat.
Good Snake.
Yeah, I love that. This guy went invisible, and Snake's like, nope, he's right there. Nope, right there. Found him. Got him. Boss, he's over here. Hector, it is your turn.
Yeah, no, Hector, just, no! And fucking charges over there and swings. Is Inga in the driver's seat?
As you get over there, you see that the driver's seat is empty.
Cool.
You remember when the wagons were originally circled, Inga was in the driver's seat, but it is now empty.
I'm going to swing. I am going to swing horizontally. And I'm going to swing just higher than where I know her head would be. Does that make sense? Just in case he made her invisible or some shit like that. I'm just
absolutely go ahead and roll an attack roll.
That's a 27.
Your hammer passes right through the square you were aiming at and does not make purchase on anything. You crunch solidly into the wood of the wagon. The whole wagon is jostled by the might of your swing, but you do not hit anything flesh or bone. And that makes it Zurabak's turn.
Man, you know what I wish I had prepared? Fairy fire.
Yeah, that'd be really useful in this particular situation.
How upset would they be if I don't know, accidentally flipped over the wagon?
I mean, the Hilltopples wouldn't love that their wagon got flipped over, but if it was for a good cause, I guess they'd be all right. I don't know. There's also still a team of riding dogs that are passed out and coupled to this wagon, so they probably wouldn't like that very much either.
I'm gonna play the wait and see game.
All right, Zurabak waits and sees.
If the wagon starts moving, I'd like to prepare action to cast Warp Wood on it.
Fantastic. Rilla Longshadow, it is your turn. Varyx, Hand of the Void, has disappeared from sight, has rushed over to Inga's wagon. Hector gave chase and swung at open air, and no one seems to have eyes in this fool at the moment. What would you like to do?
I'm concerned about, accidentally killing someone else. Right? Do we know where... Because, I could chuck at Alchemist Fire, I've got him, and my hands are itching to give him a try.
Chuck an Alchemist Fire at a wood and cloth wagon that is in a circle with other wagons that dogs are attached to?
That is
do it!
So our party. Oh my god. Where's the fire? Go for the fire.
I've also got acid flasks, so that wouldn't... But if there are passed out halflings, I'd prefer not to maim or inflame them,
There is a high chance for collateral damage with a splash weapon in this particular circumstance.
But see, that's the positive, too, because they're hiding, so if it splashes, I could still sting the bitch. But...
Beth, do you have any first levels left? Because Magic Missile doesn't miss.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. If I don't know where he is, can I still send Magic Missile? Because I've got it. I just didn't know that if I could use it. It says they strike even if they have total concealment. So would that work?
Absolutely.
Cool, then I do that.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Your magic missiles fly out, and they land on a spot just outside the circle of wagons. You hear a grunt as they hit home. It looks like Varyx was in the driver's seat and just got out of the driver's seat and is now just on the outside of the circle of wagons. Your magic missiles find purchase, pow pow, and strike seemingly open air, but they do strike their target. Roll damage.
5 on the first and 4 on the second. I rolled damn near max.
Fantastic.
So 9 points of damage. And if it's still my turn, I can move. I move 30 feet towards him because I want to keep him within 100-foot range. So.
Cool. Yeah, you move forward after striking this dude with your magic missiles. And yeah, now everyone sees that this Varyx, though invisible, is just outside of the circle of wagons. Ruger Firehide, it is your turn.
Varyx! Come out and face judgment! And then I stalk towards the wagon, and can I see where her magic missiles just hit an invisible dude?
Oh yeah, you saw where those landed. You know what square this guy's in. You know the space he's in. You just can't see him.
Well then, true to form, I am going to rush forward, battle axe in hand, and attempt to, give him one. Nope. That's an 8 on my attack roll.
All right, you rush forward and you jump up into the seat. You surge past Hector, who just tried to sweep the space of the driver's seat. You jump up into the seat of the wagon and you swing your battle axe at the space you believe Varyx to be in. And unfortunately, you find no purchase. Your axe swings into open air. And you all hear a voice telepathically in your heads. Stay your hands if you care for the halfling. She is in our care now. Bring the bard and the book to the necropolis to the east. Follow the carrion crows. If you care for this one's life, you will trade them for hers. And then you see some footprints being stamped into the relatively loose earth of the Badlands out before you, and this guy is moving fucking fast. His footprints go until you can't see them anymore. With incredible swiftness, you see some footprints track out into the Badlands beyond your ability to see. And just as the footprints make their way out of sight, you hear a high-pitched whistle. It seems the tea's done.
Tea. Zerback turns around and goes inside.
Hector says, fuck. And then he passes the fuck out because he stops raging and he goes into the negatives. I'm currently at -6.
Oh my word.
Yeah, it was close.
Yeah. So Hector's rage, as this curse escapes his lips, Hector's rage wears off and he starts bleeding from many, many wounds that weren't affecting him prior, and he just hits the fucking dirt. Zerback goes to the Wagon of Wonders to make tea. What do the rest of you do?
Medic?
I rush.
I can't do this shit.
I rush to fallen Hector and, I don't know, rip open his tunic or whatever to expose his wounds. And then...
It's a deep V.
A what?
It's a deep V.
It's a deep V.
It's a deep V, yeah.
V.
I ripped the V! Oh no. He's gonna hate me for it. Which is fine. And then I apply Kiegtum's ointment. So, yeah, it does 1d8 plus 5 healing.
Fucking excellent. So, immediately, upon falling down, Ruger rushes to Hector's side and pulls out some magical ointment, and applies it to Hector's wounds. And how much do you heal him for?
10.
Fantastic.
I now have 4 hit points.
So, Hector, you are briefly in the negatives, bleeding out. You snap to attention with Ruger above you applying a magical salve. Apparently, it just saved your life.
Thank you.
You alright, buddy?
No. Everything hurts.
Yeah, you took some, pretty serious wounds there. Here, let me help you up. And I help him up.
I accept help up.
Classic.
All right.
Yes.
So you get back on your feet. That high-pitched whistling coming from the teapot, it's, with the open windows in the Wagon of Wonders, it's surprisingly sharp and pretty loud. The howling that has been going on for the past few days stopped when you guys killed the howlers that were creating it. And as the sharp sound of this teapot cuts through the camp, a few of the hilltopples actually start to rouse. Some of the ears on the dogs perk up as they start to regain consciousness, and the seemingly mystical lethargy that swept over the Hilltopple family seems to be abating. They all slowly get up to their feet, look around, confused, bewildered. Helga and Olga, the daughters of Inga Hilltopple, get up and start doing a head count of their people, looking around and asking, what happened? Are we still in the Badlands? What happened? What's going on?
We are still in the Badlands. Finish your head count. Let me know if you're more than one short. They took your mother.
What? Who did?
Look, we're gonna have a sit-down conversation about what to do next. You and your sister will be in that conversation. Please just finish your head count so we know if they took any more, and meet us in the carriage so we can talk about what happened and what to do next.
Helga nods fitfully, obviously very worried, and turns to go finish her head count of her people. Olga, the black-haired daughter, says, some bodyguards you turned out to be. Pfft. And turns and follows her sister. And they start going through all the wagons, counting everyone and making sure they're okay. It takes them a little bit. Zurabak, inside the Wagon of Wonders, as you are making tea, you hear, oh gods, I've been killed, haven't I? I'm in hell. Zurabak's in my wagon and he's touching my teapot.
Oh, I did more than that.
Have you been through my things?
Not gonna lie. Yes.
So after Zurabak gets done making some tea, and the Hilltopples finish their head count, Sebastian finds his feet and, still wavering, wanders out of the wagon. He takes a seat on the steps on the back of it and puts his head in his hand, still ashen-faced, shakes his head, and you all are able to sort of come together and sort of hash out what just happened. Zurabak, do you serve tea to everyone?
No.
Okay. Zurabak alone sips a glass of tea, gingerly blowing on it, while the rest of you talk. Yeah. Helga and Olga return, completing the circle. Ruger, Hector, Rilla, Zurabak, and Sebastian. Helga, the red-haired, says, well, it would seem that all of our people are accounted for. Cousins, uncles, brothers and sisters, everyone seems more or less fine. All the dogs are fine. Olga says, yes, all of them except for our mother, the matron of Clan Hilltopple. It would seem that she's been spirited away. Will you all tell us what transpired?
Made some tea. Tried on Sebastian's shirts.
An agent of the Stricken attacked. His name was Varyx, Hand of the Void. He was a creepy motherfucker. He demanded that we turn over Sebastian. We, of course, refused. We fought him for a while, and then he turned invisible. And the next thing I knew, Inga disappeared. And he told us to bring him the bard if we want your mother back.
Olga, the black, says, you mean to tell me that our mother is kidnapped by some psychotic in order to bring this bard out of the safety of his wagon? That is easy. Give him up. Helga the Red says, Sister, they cannot do that. Look, you saw those beasts. Their corpses still litter the battlefield. They went through a lot. She turns to you. I'm sure you all did everything you could. My sister is very upset.
Hector nearly died. Just, FYI.
I can see that. You'll have to forgive Olga. She's very emotional. I realize you did, I'm sure, everything you could. And I know how valuable the artifacts you have are. What is the plan? Where have they taken our mother?
Did he telepathically say a place? I don't remember.
Oh, he super did.
Yeah, the necropolis
He did,
to the east.
but I didn't.
Oh, he did say another. Okay, yeah, I forgot about
Follow the
necropolis.
crows.
I was
carrying
bleeding
crows.
a lot.
Zerback tuned him out.
Yeah. Sebastian says, the necropolis? That sounds... unpleasant? Okay. Well, so, still have the book, which is good. And we're mostly still alive, which is also good. But oh, by the gods, we can't leave Inga to whatever fate they have in store for her.
She's very dead. If they were smart.
Hector hits Zuraback. He's just gonna punch him. And I'm gonna roll that and everything. That's what happens when he says that in front of her daughters. Does a 22 hit your armor class? It does. That's 5 points of damage. They're using her as a hostage. They're not going to kill her as long as they can still negotiate using her.
Helga and Olga stare daggers at Zuraback. Olga the Black lunges forward to follow suit with Hector, and Helga grabs her by her shoulders and says, "We are going to tend to our people and our hounds. If you come up with a plan to save our mother's life, let us know, and we will assist you."
I mean, I have an idea, I say, and I snap my fingers and turn into Sebastian. I can be the bait. Eh?
Sebastian stares at you wide-eyed. That would be better for me, absolutely. I am in love with this plan, yes. That works. How long can you maintain that illusion? Well, that metamorphosis.
I think like 20 minutes right now. I'll get better at it with practice, I'm sure, but,
Well, that's certainly something. I suppose we'll have to figure out how to get there and best employ that stratagem. So they said to go to a necropolis. Did he say anything else? This Varyx character?
They might have my aunt. I'm not sure. Or maybe that was just to really piss me off. I don't know. He said something about an old elf, so...
He also claimed to be associated, at least, with those who caused the avalanche in my home.
If this book is as important as we think it is, then we absolutely can hand it over to the Stricken. Let's just start there. And I mean, Sebastian, obviously we don't want to hand you over either, so The
I
only thing that
appreciate that.
makes
Thank you.
sense to me is to somehow trick them into at least showing us that the hostage is a lie? I don't know. Like, there's gotta be just some way of, like, here's quote-unquote Sebastian, now show us our hostage, and then we'd have to have a trick or a trap or something. But I am concerned about even taking the book there. You know?
Well, I should also mention that it's not just the book that they were after. They were after Sebastian as well. Why is that?
I don't know. I'm a bard. The Stricken and his church, they hate bards. We tell stories. We keep the stories of the old world alive. Every one of us, strive to return the written word to the people. We hold information. We hold tales. We try to bring light and hope and communication wherever we go. Any member of the Stricken's coterie would want to kill any bard they come across. I don't know why they'd want me specifically.
Seems like a lot of effort to go for one bard. I get the book, I understand, but he seemed quite adamant that he get you as well. Curious.
Well, here's what I think. I think that we need to scout this place, this necropolis. We need to know what we're looking at. I think we need to go in with the intention of a rescue. We cannot turn over the book. Or Sebastian. That's not happening. But we're also not going to leave Inga in their hands. The problem is information. We don't have enough.
Does anyone know anything about the necropolis besides that it's a necropolis? Like, would the Hilltopples have passed by it, or Ruger?
Ruger, roll me a survival check.
21.
Okay. Ruger, you know that there are no natural, like, animal life, like flora and fauna in the Badlands are almost absent completely. It's very rare that you find any creatures besides undead or these horrific howler beasts that attacked you. But you think you've seen once or twice on some of your very dangerous and deeper rovings into the Badlands, you have noticed on the horizon a crow or a raven far in the distance to the east once or twice on your travels. You have a general idea of where they might be talking about, but you've certainly never traveled so far as to follow up on that.
I might have a rough idea where this necropolis is, but I've never actually been there, and by the sound of it, I don't reckon that I really want to go there now, but I suppose it's what we have to do.
Well, firstly, I agree that we don't want to bring the book anywhere near there, and I think we don't want to bring Sebastian anywhere near there. I think that we need to, I hate to say it, split up. I think we need to take a small group to travel that way and at least scout out what we're looking at.
Sebastian says, "If I may, Hector, I appreciate your sentiment, and I agree. The Stricken's grimoire is far too important to deliver to the hands of our enemies. Perish the thought. That is a non-starter. But the guilt I feel, having Inga be used as leverage to bring me to our enemies, I'm not sure if I'd feel right just sitting this out."
Sebastian, with all due respect, I don't care about your guild. If the 4 of us are going to leave this group to scout this out, that's going to leave the rest of these halflings somewhat defenseless. They're not incapable, but I've seen you do some things that tell me that you are more capable of protecting them than of being used, potentially just getting taken. You need to protect the book, and you need to protect these people.
I can't argue against that logic. That's sound, Hector. But don't forget Helga and Olga. They seem pretty keen on rescuing their matriarch. I'm sure they'd want to make themselves available to the rescue as well. If you mean to scout, their dogs are fast.
I agree. I intend, if the rest of you are okay with my plan in general, I am certainly open to critique or suggestion, but I would intend on offering them the chance to come with us as well.
The problem is we have half a plan, which is scout this out and then try and make a plan? Did we get a time for when we're supposed to meet? No?
Post haste.
Which means they'll be waiting for us, which means when we show up without Sebastian or the book,
It's a
we
trap.
won't even have time to make a plan. It'll just be time to do the plan. So...
Yeah.
I mean, I think we get close. Those of us who are more stealthy get closer and just observe from as far away as we can.
Who is stealthy in this group?
I'm not bad.
Okay. That might... So we're sending Ruger.
I mean, I've heard worse ideas. Just saying, I've got 40 years of experience, you know.
He's not dead yet, I guess.
So, if I understand your plan correctly, my 4 protagonists are going to travel through the Badlands to a city of the dead, most likely under the control of our sworn enemies, the Cult of the Stricken, to scout out the landscape and then somehow pull off a deception involving Rilla taking my shape while I languish here amongst the hilltopples and hope that you all return alive?
Yeah, basically.
About sums it up.
Hey, Sebastian, how... Are you good at disguises? Are you a disguisey kind of bard?
Well, I've done my fair share of acting in my day. I know my way around some stage makeup, if that's what you're asking, yes.
You should try and look like a halfling while we're gone. Like just another halfling in the party.
Now that is an interesting idea. I suppose a little camouflage couldn't hurt. Mix myself in with the rest of the hilltopples.
You'll probably want to cover up those scars on your chest as well. Make sure to keep those identifying scars hidden.
Sebastian stands up when you say that, and his hand goes to his collar like he's gripping it, holding it shut. Scars? What scars? What are you talking about?
Well, you know, the X-shaped lacerations across your torso.
Mr. Firehide, you are being rather rude. I don't go remarking on the scar tissue that mars your body. I would thank you not to mention mine.
Yeah. Sebastian's sexual proclivities are none of our business!
Yes, we'll go with that. I'm kinky. Now, are you going to leave, or what are we doing?
Zerback gets more tea.
Zerback, I know you are not a man of many words, but I would like to hear your thoughts
We leave and go to Everspring.
I'm pretty sure if we leave Inga to die, Olga and Helga will murder us in our sleep probably the first time we go to sleep.
They'll try.
Bare minimum, we'd lose all the halflings.
I don't believe the Hilltopples will be keen to leave here at all until their matriarch is brought back to them. I mean, if we were to go to Everspring now, we'd be leaving the Hilltopples to their fate entirely, leaving them to storm the necropolis on their own with what supplies they have.
Ruger, in your estimation, how far do you think this place is?
Well, I'd say at least a few days, perhaps longer.
Not too far. What if we traveled full caravan in that direction for one day? Try and find a spot that's relatively safe and defensible, and then we take our scouting party out from there.
Well, now, I suppose that is a plan, though I would say that the deeper you go in the Badlands, the more dangerous it's likely to be. So, we'll want to be careful both in the scouting party and those left behind.
Zurabek, we're going to attempt a rescue mission. That is happening. We are going to be potentially fighting some Stricken. I need to know, will you come with us?
Zurabak doesn't answer.
Maybe just as well. And Hector walks out.
And scene!
Alrighty, so you relay this information to Helga and Olga. They're checking the ties, the harness of one of their hounds as it is being reconnected to the last of the wagons. All of the Hilltopple family is bustling around, reloading their wagons, checking their axles, and pulling out very sharp short swords, crossbows, and putting on bits of leather armor. And yeah, Helga and Olga are finishing strapping down one of the hounds on the lead wagon. They turn to you as you approach. Helga says, "Well, what have you all come to?" Olga says, "Yes, I'm eager to hear your plan to do your job. Protect our mother, as you were paid to do."
And we intend on fulfilling. Currently, we believe the place where they have her kept is about 2 days' travel. We are going to move somewhat closer with the whole caravan. And then, when we're about a day out, we plan on taking a small party, traveling out there, scouting out the situation, and figuring out what we can do to rescue her. We have a tentative plan involving Rilla's ability to shapeshift. That's something that we can definitely use to our advantage, as well as Ruger's knowledge of this area. I wanted to offer to you, if you want to be a part of this scouting party, or if you think your place is better spent with your people.
Helga says, "We have told our people to prepare for battle. We're taking what supplies we have and reinforcing the wagons even further. We've doled out the weapons and armor as best we can. Our people are small, but we've survived in every environment that this island has to offer. They will be able to take care of themselves." And Olga says, "And we will follow you to ensure that our mother is safely returned. You have our support and our assistance. We can ride fast. We can avoid detection. We've been scouts for our entire lives.
I was hoping that's what you'd say. Helga, Olga, I'm sorry.
Helga pats you on the leg and gives you a sympathetic look. Olga spits on the ground and says, "If our mother is not returned, gatekeeper, then you will be sorry. Let us go. I tire of this place already." And they both go to mount up and whistle, and the wagon train heads out, following Ruger's directions. And you guys make your way to the east, deeper into the Badlands, heading towards the necropolis to attempt to retrieve Inga Hilltopple. And that is where we'll end.
Welcome to As the Dice Turns. This is Zurabak from my swamp. I'm going to ask the questions today. That's all you need to know. Alright. Oh, I guess I should call on someone. Eeny, meeny, miny, Rilla.
Sarahback? What? Why? Where's... I'm very confused. Why are you here?
I'm king here now. Speaking of king, what would you like to be king of?
I'm still confused as to what you're doing. Do you know how the recording instruments work? Is that even on?
We'll find out, won't we?
If I answer your questions, will you tell me where the host is?
No.
Well, then what's the point of me answering the questions, Zerback?
I'll give you a clue.
Oh, God. He's not dead, is he? You're not going to answer that, are you? God damn it.
I am not in the knowledge of knowing if he is still among the living.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna take some deep breaths here. Ask your stupid question again. What was it?
What do you want to be king of? Like me, king of the shocker lizards, king of the studio swamp.
Like, half the things you're king of have died, but sure.
They live on in spirit.
I mean, I'm obviously already king of the elven sorcerers, because I'm the only one. How about king of the shapeshifters? That sounds fun.
That does sound fun.
Yeah. Now give me my clue.
He's in the swamp.
The whole room is a swamp!
Yep.
Alright, screw it. And Rilla transforms into a merfolk and dives into the swamp.
Oh, good guess. Good guess. Ruger of the Firehide.
Well, hey there, Zerback. How are you today?
Great. Learning new tricks.
I hear you may or may not have abducted the host. Is this true?
I have done nothing of the sort.
Well, now Zerback, I thought we talked about this. I thought you and I had an understanding. Abductions are not okay. Pretty much in all forms or facets, buddy.
If I had abducted him, he would still be in my possession.
Do you know where he is, or did you lose him?
Yes.
Alright, buddy. Well, here. Let's make a deal. I hear that You ask a question, I get a clue, right? Is that how this works? I answer a question, you give me a very specific hint as to where the host is. Agreed?
Depends on the answer.
Well, ask the question, let's see what happens.
What do you wish to be king of?
King. Well, Zerback, I am not a man made to be a king. I am barely a man made to be a man. King. That's more your thing, isn't it?
Yes, but every man has kingdom, does he not? It is what he makes of it.
Well, sure. Yeah, that's actually surprisingly sage coming out of your corner, Zerback. Color me impressed, I'll say that, but,
I'm the king here now. Much sage wisdom.
yeah, that's, okay, well, I feel as though I've answered your question, so, where's the host?
Not in Snake.
Well, alright, that's great. I'm gonna go ahead and, just poke around and see if I can't find him.
I would try over by the reeds.
Ah, hey! Now that is a tip worth pursuing. Thanks, Zerback.
And last but not least, Hector, keeper of the gates.
Well, hello, Zerback. Not least? That's... Hey, progress.
You are very big.
This is true. And may I just say, almost 3 whole people are kind of worried about where you are, so that's something. Huh?
They should be.
I am. Did you hurt him?
Physically, no.
I don't know what to think of that, Zerback.
Hector?
We need to have a really long talk after this.
No, we don't. What do you want to be king of? Most important thing today.
And if I answer well, I get a clue, so we can locate the host.
Probably.
Okay. Well. King. Powerful word. You know, I am supposed to become the chief of the gatekeepers. That's kind of like a king. So there's that, but I feel like maybe that's cheating. King. What would I be king of? King of... I did eat a dragon wing once. Maybe I'm the king of the dragons.
That'd be a good thing to be king of.
I am good at climbing. Can I be king of the mountain?
Sure. I'm not stopping you.
King of the mountain. Yes. Yes. Is that adequate? Is that a good answer?
Oh yeah, much better than Ruger's.
Yeah, I bet. Now, how about that clue?
Ah, fun board game.
I'm gonna try that again. How about that clue that you owe me for answering your question?
Well, he's not in the water, and he's definitely not behind those reeds. Because they went over there to check him.
Okay.
Have you tried the back room? It's where I...
Sharon! Have we tried the back room? Sharon?
Oh, she's busy. She makes wonderful meals. We're going to feast like kings today.
That's on theme. I'm gonna go help search for the host now.
That's fair.
Hey, Zerback. What would you be king of?
Oh, so many things. Oh, bye.
Hey there, dear listeners. Sam, the DM here, checking in with the credits at the end of the show. Thank you all so much for listening to Challenge Rating Zero. We certainly appreciate you making us a part of your bi-weekly podcast cycle. If you would like to reach out to us here at Challenge Rating Zero, you can follow us on all of the social medias. We're Challenge Rating Zero on Instagram, Challenge Rating Zero on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter at challenge_zero. If you'd like to follow us individually, you can find Beth at Dragon, the letter N, Distress. You can find Brian at Dalabrack. You can find me, your humble dungeon master, at Horace Kemp 3, and you can find Alex at Alex Clanky. If you would like to contact us directly, you can email us at challengerating0@gmail.com. If you have any As the Dice Turns questions that you would like to pose to our player characters or to any NPCs, feel free to shoot us an email with As the Dice Turns in the subject line, and we will read your question on the air. Music for our show is provided by the dreaded harp wolf, Danielle Williams. You can find her music at danielletaylorharp.bandcamp.com. She has an album out called Why Are We Surprised When Seasons Change? You should check it out. It's a real banger. Additional music for the show is also provided by Justin Ra. You can find his work at justinra.bandcamp.com. He also has an album out called Age of the Spirit, which is quite good as well. Our numbers have been steadily on the rise as we move forward. We cannot thank you all enough for that. We appreciate your ears, and it definitely gives us a lot of pride and joy to make this show and keep picking up some momentum. If you would like to support the show, give us a like, give us a follow, share some clips or episodes with some friends of yours. And if you'd like to support us more directly, you can check out our new Patreon page, patreon.com/challenge-rating-0. We are cooking up some extra bonus content to throw to our Patreon subscribers. We should have that stuff coming up here in a few weeks. So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, stay safe out there. Be kind to each other. We'll see you next time. Bye.